Combustible Dust by Casey Kelly and William Gillian, IET 422, Spring 2011. Objectives. Participants shall be able to define combustible dust. Participants shall understand the causes of dust explosions and prevention activities to limit the potential for an incident. Participants shall be aware of the hazards related to dust explosions. Participants shall understand the secondary impacts of explosions. OSHA standards include ventilation, housekeeping, fire protection and exit routes, emergency action plans, and fire prevention plans. Combustible dust is defined by OSHA as a combustible particle solid that presents a fire or deflagration hazard when suspended in air or some other oxidizing medium over a range of concentrations regardless of particles, size, or shape. How an explosion works. First, you need an ignition source, an oxygen source, dust, and confinement. Having these items together in a space without proper ventilation will lead to an explosion. The OSHA standards for ventilation. You need an exhaust ventilation system, which is a system for removing contaminated air from a space compromising two or more of the following elements: enclosure or hood, ductwork, duct collecting equipment, exhauster, and discharge stack. All air inlets and access openings shall be baffled or so arranged that by the combination of inward airflow and baffling, the escape of abrasive or dust particles into an adjacent work area will be minimized and visual spurts of dust will not be observed. This is a picture of a dust collector outside a facility. This is an aerial shot of the Imperial Sugar Company in Savannah, Georgia. The plant was completely destroyed in an explosion. 14 employees were killed, numerous employees were injured, and the incident resulted in more than $5 million of OSHA citation. Housekeeping is another standard in which facilities should abide by in order to keep hazards at a minimum. In the CTA explosion in Corbin, Kentucky in 2003, housekeeping could have prevented the explosion but was not properly enforced. NFPA 654-2000 states, regular cleaning frequencies shall be established for floors and horizontal surfaces such as ducts, pipes, hoods, ledges, and beams to minimize dust accumulations within operating areas of the facility. A photo of CTA Acoustics Dust Explosion and Fire 2003 in Corbin, Kentucky. OSHA Standard Fire Protection. Fire protection includes things like protective clothing to be worn while working to help prevent burns, fire extinguishers, and alarm systems. These alarm systems include written, oral, and employee. Each year in the United States, 1.1 million burn injuries require attention. Approximately 50,000 burn injuries require hospitalization, approximately 20,000 are major burns to over 25% of the body, and approximately 4,500 of these people die. There are many hazards related to dust explosions. Explosions in confined spaces and/or structural collapse are associated with greater morbidity and mortality. Secondary explosions can be far more destructive than a primary explosion due to the increased quantity and concentration of dispersed combustible dust. Many deaths and pest accidents, as well as other damage, have been caused by secondary explosions. Secondary impacts can include loss of production time, facility closure, loss of jobs, strong impact on the local economy, possible multi-business closure due to exposures, and fines from governing agencies including OSHA. Secondary explosions wreak more destruction than the primary explosion due to the increased quantity and concentration of dispersed combustible dust. This is a photo of a 2008 incident involved in a sugar dust explosion at a plant in Port Wentworth, Georgia. To review the risk assessment for a dust explosion, first identify the hazard. Decide who might be harmed and how. Evaluate the risks and determine the precautions. This includes explosion prevention, risk reduction, and explosion protection. Record the findings and implement them. For more information, please visit www www.osha.gov.